Another important work is Al-Khair Al-Qatir, the abundant good. Al-Khair Al-Qatir. This book explores the nature of existence, about the wujud, epistemology, and the relationship between the Allah and the created universe. It emphasizes the unity of knowledge and religious experiences. Another important work is Al-Tafimat Al-Ilahiyya. It is about the divinely inspired insights. This work offered insight into the Islamic mysticism, that is Sufism, and the inner dimension of human spirituality. This work includes Shah Wali's mystical experiences and as well as interpretation of the spiritual state. Another important work is Al-Budur Al-Baziqah. It means the full moon rising in splendor. In this work, Shah Wali has discussed regarding the unity of Allah Almighty and the purpose of human existence and the evolution of the religious law. This work reflects Shah Wali's philosophical inquiries into the nature of divine attributes and human responsibility. Dear learners, another key work is Izalatul Khifa and Khilafatul Khulafa, removing the uncertainties about the caliphate of the caliph. In due course of our history, there were many uncertainties that has been prevailing in the society regarding the caliphate of the caliph. So he had tried to address this issue. He had addressed the concept of caliphate and the importance of leadership in Islam. In this book, my dear learners, he delves into the historical and theological as well as the political aspect of the caliphate, discussing the role and the responsibility of caliphs and the leaders in the Muslim community. Another important work, Sharh Hizbul Bahr. It is a commentary on the litany of the seas. Dear learners, this work of Shah Wali provides an extensive commentary on the work of Abul Hasan al-Shazili, well-known supplication, Ad-Dua, delving into its linguistic detail, spiritual significance, and practical application. Shah Wali, through this work, has emphasized the benefits of regular recitation for spiritual fortification and purification, along with guidance on proper recitation, etiquette, and intention. Dear learners, another important work is Al-Fawzul Kabir fi Usulul Tafsir. It means the great success in the principle of Quranic commentaries. Dear learner, this is the comprehensive text that outlines the foundational principles of tafsir. According to Shah Wali, this work was the groundbreaking work in the field of tafsir, the explanation of the Holy Quran. Prior to this, many scholars has written the tafsir, but they have written the tafsir in the Arabic language. This tafsir work of Shah Wali Dehlvi was written in the Persian language, as we have already discussed that at that time the Persian was the lingua franca. So It was the very influential and important work of tafsir by any Indian scholar. Dear learners, let's have an analysis of his masterpiece work, Hujjatullah al-Baligha. Dear learners, Hujjatullah al-Baligha is an invaluable resource for the Muslim Ummah, the Muslim community. In it, the Sharia regulations are presented in a very beautiful manner. Sometimes we say it's in a mysterious manner. This work provides excellent answer to various questions that are related to the Sharia and spirituality in Islam. Dear learners, Shah has divided his Hujjatullah al-Baligha into two parts. The first part itself is divided into the 7th chapter. Dear learners, each chapter is divided or further divided into several sections. The chapter in his book or in the book of Shah, which contained various descriptions of Sufism are we have mentioned below. In the first part, Shah has highlighted the Sharia's mysteries and principles through which the Sharia rules can be easily understood. Dear learner, he discussed why Allah Almighty would hold people accountable and why they would be rewarded or punished. He discussed this thing in detail, at length, that every actions of our, every deeds of our are being recorded. And we are accountable for our deeds and action and even speeches. And on the basis of that one, we would be rewarded or punished. Dear learners, in the first chapter, he discussed the discovery of the creation and its management. He talked in detail how the universe has been created and how Allah Almighty is managing the creation. And what is the role of a human being also in this creation. Since cosmology is the original question of everything, he tried to solve it first. Because very first query that comes, how this world has been created. This is a cosmological question. So it was Shah who attempted to solve this issue, or tried to answer this issue in the initial stage. Shah has discussed in his Hujjatullah al-Baligha in detail that Allah Almighty created man from a single drop of the blood clot. He then discussed regarding the Alame Misal, Alame Misal, the exemplary world, and Malay Ala, the higher council. And he has even discussed about the Haqiqatul Ruh, about the Ruh, that this exists, and the theory of accountability. As he has mentioned in his work about the Alame Misal, the exemplary world. That Allah has created this universe as an exemplary world. And Allah has also made the higher council. That is to judge the people who had been sent down to this exemplary world, and also about the ruh, the naturity of the ruh, the soul, that once the soul is entered in the body, then all deeds and actions and speeches are accountable. Dear learners, he concludes this portion of his book with that everyone should enjoy the result of work. Good action will get good result. Evil action will get the bad result. So he had tried to invoke the people, tried to address the people that throughout their life they should try to indulge themselves in good deeds and good action, and definitely it will have a good result. And the evil action, evil doing, evil deed will have the bad result. Dear learners, in the second chapter, he discussed the most critical problem of the earthly life. That is the overall system of the human life. That why we have been created, what is the purpose of our creation, what is the need of for the human being on the earth. In this chapter, he had described well what step a Muslim can take to succeed in various life fields. So he addressed these issues, these queries. Dear learners, he had skillfully highlighted how people's personal, social, national, and international life can be happy and beautiful. He highlighted about the people's personal, people's social, people's national, international life. The way they are living, they can live very happy and in a very beautiful manner. Dear learners, he had divided this book or this chapter into the 11 sections. And through this 11th section, he has tried to lay down the principles of human need and the fundamental rights. He tried to explain the implementation of various needs and rights of the human being. That through this work, as he had tried to make that every individual has the fundamental rights. They had the need. So, what are the mode and method that these needs should be fulfilled, and how all the things should be implemented, the right to be implemented. Now, as a result, he had discussed various aspects of civic life also, like the mutual transaction, the state policy, the military policy, the economy, and the social policy very nicely. He had observed, he had discussed these things very nicely. He was of the view that the ruler must be of the good character. And in the context of how the ruler life would be, on the other hand, he says that a ruler must face the enemy like a hero, must be very energetic, must be fearless, and he should be ready to face any sort of circumstances like a hero. And on the other hand, he must be kind in the need of the public welfare. That it is a duty of a ruler that he should be very kind, very humble. Whenever the public welfare programs are held, he should participate. He should show his kindness. he should come forward to help who are in need. Dear learners, the ruler must be sagacious and possess the wisdom of implementing the Islamic rules properly. He should be of a very good nature, and he possesses such wisdom, such knowledge that he can easily implement the law, the Sharia properly, and should also monitor how it is being implemented in every part of his domain. He further stressed in his work, the ruler must be mature, the ruler must be intelligent, and the ruler must be independent. And he should not be in influence with any sort of people, any group of people. All the decisions should be made by him independent on the basis of his intellect, on the basis of his maturity. He further adds that the ruler must be a healthy person with the whole body. A person who has any sort of disability, he should not become a ruler, because disability will somehow hamper the welfare work of the government. So, a healthy ruler will definitely work for the progress in any way, in any manner. Otherwise, the people cannot give him respect also. If a person is healthy and bold and very energetic, then the people will also respect him also. And the ruler should be charitable and social also. He should meet with the peoples. He should listen to the problems of the people. Otherwise, people will not love him also. They will get away from the ruler. They will consider the ruler as a tyrant. So, the ruler should be a perfect man. Dear learners, he has also discussed regarding that the ruler should engage himself in public welfare, or the people will not consider him the benefactor. If he will not engage himself in the public welfare program, then it will be understood that the ruler is self-centered. He is not a benefactor. So he should have a constant vigil regarding the security of the state. He should monitor each and everything, though he must have a set of the people to monitor, but he should monitor each and everything by himself also for the security of the state. Dear learners, he has showed the characteristic that should be feature of the famous ruler. In the third chapter, he had tried to review the various customs and practices that were prevailing in the human society. Dear learners, in the fourth chapter, he dealt with the fortune, the wealth. He discussed in detail in this chapter regarding that what luck is, the differences among the people, and about the meditation related to the luck and the way to achieve the luck. That he talks very indifferently regarding the luck. That he had related the luck with the nature, with the demands, and with the spiritual life of the people. And Irving tried to debate that it can be achieved, the luck can be achieved through living a spiritual life. So, in this chapter, he has talked about, as we have said, about the good fortune. What are the good fortune? He discussed that Tawheed, Shirk, Iman, the Salat, the Saum, the Hajj, the Zakat are the related regulation that are associated to the good fortune. By Tawheed, he means that we should consider Allah as one and Prophet as his messenger. One should abstain oneself from performing shirk, from indulging into the shirk. He says that Iman should be perfected. There should be no deviation in Iman. We should have pray perfectly 5 times and many more others as per the need and the requirement. But the 5 time daily prayer are necessary and important for everyone. That will lead toward the good fortune. The fasting is also important. He stressed about the fasting, that this fasting brings piousness among the people. Hajj is an important fundamental tenet of Islam that a Muslim should try to perform Hajj because it is very important. And regarding the zakat, that just to end the economic disparity, the model of zakat that has been introduced by the Prophet Muhammad, it should be applied. And zakat, the payment of zakat, the distribution of zakat will definitely bring the good fortune. Dear learners, he has analyzed the mysteries and the theories of these subjects. Finally, in this particular chapter, he clearly showed the different level of sin also. And he has categorized the haram sins also, especially how sin destroy an individual or the society. Dear learners, in the 5th chapter of his work, he has highlighted how virtue opens the way for individual and society to peace and happiness in this world and the hereafter. Further, dear learners, in the 6th chapter of his Hujjatullah al-Baligha, he discussed the national politics also. So this work is also an important work on the political science. He had divided this aspect, this part, into multiple chapters, especially the 21 sections. And in each section, he has tried to discuss various aspects of religion and nation, the guiding community of the nation, the religion of the past, the Islam, and the various aspects of the Jahili era. So, in these 21 sections, he had tried to discuss each and every aspect that somehow is related to the politics, the national politics. Dear learners, he had also highlighted in his work the various secret and theories of Sharia and state administration. He divided the 7th and the final chapter into the 11th section. In these sections, he had made an enlightened discussion on the prophetic knowledge, hadith collection, the differences and the opinions of the Sahaba, Tabi'in, and the Faqih. This section was totally about the traditions of the Prophet Muhammad and the way the traditions has been collected and how there are the differences regarding the various opinions of the Sahaba, the Tabi'ins, and the Faqih. He had also discussed the issue of the cleanness, tahara, and as well as the salat, the prayer, in detail. In this way, he concluded the first volume by discussing various issues of Islam and Sharia. Dear learners, Shavirullah has also wrote about the worship, social relation, and political activities in the second volume of his book Hujjatullah al-Baligha. At the beginning of the book, he had tried to describe the importance and the reality of the the prayer, the fasting, and the Hajj. He did not divide this volume into different chapters, but gave each discussion a separate title. He discussed various aspects of business and earning a livelihood because the basis of the acceptance of worship is halal sustenance. Just because of that one, he had also discussed the aspect of business and earning livelihood. In the second part, he has mentioned that managing business practices and means of earning money in an Islamic manner is the key to acceptance of worship. He dealt with a section on the family system also. In this section or in this chapter, he discussed the issue like the marriage, divorce, the rights of the wife, the education of the woman, and the initiation of the children. He had also discussed the issue related to the country and the races also. Dear learners, in the second part, he has also discussed on the issue of the caliphate, on the issue of the judicial system, regarding the penal code of Sharia, regarding the policy, military policy, and many other critical national issues. He also discussed the various customs of the ordinary life of the people. Dear learners, in this work, he has also laid down the basic principle regarding the manner, clothing, and culture, etc. He had concluded this invaluable work by highlighting the characteristic quality of the Sahaba. Dear learners, let's have a glance over his way and method he had tried to analyze the Sharia. So we can understand his objectives, what he means by the objective of Sharia. Dear learners, he has emphasized that the importance of understanding Sharia is a comprehensive system that governs not only religious practices but also the social, economic, and political aspect of life. Dear learners, through this objective, he believed that Sharia should be interpreted in a way that aligns with the changing circumstances of society, and he had constantly been advocating for the dynamic approach of Islamic law. For example, the usage of ijtihad. Dear learners, he argued that the ultimate goal of Sharia is to promote justice and equality, ensuring that all individuals are treated fairly with respect. He has highlighted that the objective is the significance of reason and intellect in interpreting Sharia, encouraging scholars to engage with contemporary issues through rational analysis. Dear learners, he stressed on the need of unity among Muslims, suggesting that the collective understanding of Sharia could help to bridge the differences and could foster a sense of community. Dear learners, he had pointed out that the Sharia should not be seen as a rigid or inflexible. Rather, it should be adapt to the need of the society while remaining rooted in the Islamic principles. Dear learners, while discussing the objective of Sharia, he has advocated for the education of the mass. That is the integral part of the Sharia. Believing that as informed populace would lead to better adherence of Islamic values and laws. That if the people are being informed, then they can better adhere to the Islamic values and laws. He had also emphasized on the role of the ethical conduct in the application of Sharia. He had asserted that morality should be the guide for the implementation of the law. He advocated for the education of the masses because about Sharia, he believed that the population should be informed. And if they will be informed, then they can better adhere to the Islamic values and laws. He also emphasized on the role of ethical conduct in the application of Sharia. He asserted that the morality should be the guide to implement the laws. Dear learners, he recognized the importance of social justice in Sharia. That's why he means that these are the social justice is a part and parcel of the objective of Sharia. He argued that the law should aim to uplift the marginalized and ensure their rights are protected. His views on Sharia reflect a holistic understanding of Islam, where spiritual, moral, and practical dimensions are intertwined to create a balanced and just society.